Welcome. We're talking about practical solutions to the boy child, and I'm excited that we're not just crying out and saying the boy child is not doing so well. We are giving practical solutions. We are asking real questions on the ground and getting very, very practical answers. I'm very excited to understand about the Affirmation Act. I'm very excited to understand that we can tell the boy child, toka mahali ulipo, do something. And someone says, kwamba katika darasa lake kuna more boys than girls. Is it affected by what you both shared, probably, that, you know, there's more preference in hiring probably to the girl depending on the affirmation, you know?
I would say that in anything that we do in this life, there must be a trigger. What is pushing you? What is giving you that extra energy to put that effort? Think of, we had No Man is Limited. Why was that guy running and like he's not competing with anybody? He wanted to beat something. So, well, our young men will look at, do we have, what is the ultimate? What after working so hard, after even attending those lessons, after putting a lot of efforts, what do I want to achieve? Is it there? So if there's nothing that has been set in front of them, then it's like they are not motivated to even put more efforts.
Could it be also lack of mentors? Maybe they lack people to tell them you can do it?
And also, as you put it, we have very few mentors, if any. Yeah? You can get to a whole village and find that there's no mentor. I've walked to small shopping centers where there are schools, and the kids know no one that they can emulate in as far as education is concerned. And the few that are there, either they dropped at class 2, class 3, and they're doing very well. So these ones are wondering, why should I put a lot of efforts? Well, these men are here. The other thing is, my brother did a degree and a master's. He's at home digging, just like, and looking for vibaruas. So why should I put a lot of efforts in books where I can as well join him and do that instead of spending all the time?
Is that the right mindset?
It is not the right mindset. And as we say, that information is power. If you go to we have agencies that are looking for people to go work abroad. So we got to look beyond the boundaries. Kenya is just one area. We have so many other countries that are there, and countries that actually have, some countries have very few young people who can work. So they are
like
trying.
The UK.
Yeah, we have UK, we have Canada, we have the UAE, even if we have had issues with the UAE. But those countries, they're their jobs. So these young men need to be given information that, yes, even after working so hard, you should not think of Nairobi. Already we have so many people in Nairobi. Can you think of going beyond the boundaries? Can you also think of, you got to be a bit innovative? Maybe what people have been doing, you can also think, because each person that is there, and even these young men, the many of them that are, they can also think of, instead of getting employed, can I come up with an idea that possibly would employ people? And I would give an example of the young man who came up with the M-Pesa app. Nobody gives him credit, yes. But then, if only he knew that he can patent his app, and possibly he could be the one owning the app, and you can imagine the thousands of people that young man has employed indirectly and directly. So even while these young men are seated somewhere, they can also think of, there's something that you can do, because God has given us a certain capability that no other person has. We are all unique in our own ways. So if you can utilize the uniqueness that you have, possibly you could create a job for yourself and a job for many other people.
So think beyond the box. Apostle Geshimo, he says, in my class, I see more girls. Is it that more girls are more driven? We've empowered the girl child so much, told her the power of education, and in that process, maybe sideline the boy child?
I would say this, that sometimes all these things are in somebody's mind. You know, a lot of falsehood. Sometimes we build our life on falsehood, because what I know, and this is also my experience, is that when I went to college and finished college, and then I started working, I was still not even satisfied where I was working. I was still looking for something else to do. And that's how I ended up working with an international organization. And even when I was in that organization still, I was not satisfied. I was still looking for other things to do. Because one thing we have to appreciate as human beings is that we have a capacity. And each one has that capacity. It's only that sometimes it takes us too long, or sometimes we get deviated. We concentrate on the negatives of things are not happening, or we psych ourselves that when I finish college, I can only go and look for a job. But people need to start rethinking. You have to rewind your thinking and think differently. And how do you think differently? Yes, I'm in college. After I leave this college, what am I going to do? And there are some young men, I thank God, who, when they even leave the college, they say, I'm not going to be employed. If what he did, for example, in IT, I can come up. Unfortunately, this young man was robbed of his invention. And
Very
you who robbed him, I'm not going to mention your name, but I know who you are. I'm not going to mention your name, okay? There are many, you know, they come up. If it is IT, you can begin something on your own, discover things. Somebody like Bill Gates, for example. This man did, according to the information I have about him, he did not even go to college. He used to sit, burn the midnight oil, and he came up with discoveries, and all of us, even with our PhDs and whatever else we have, we are depending on his invention. So we have a capacity, I would call it God-given capacity, and this is something that we should concentrate on. So if things don't work on in one way,
don't go and drink and get into the
you know,
it's not over.
don't give up. The worst thing that you can do as a man, or even as a woman, is actually to give up. Because once you give up, you are gone. You are finished. But once you say, yes, I have tried this, it has not worked, I'll try the other. I'll give you an example of a certain product called W40. W40 is a penetration oil that you can use to unlock or to unscrew a rusty nut, which by using the normal spanner and what have you cannot be able to unlock it. So you have to apply this W40 so that it may remove the rust, and when you unlock it, it will be able to unlock. The reason why it is called W40 is because the inventor of W40 tried 40 times. And it is only the 40th time that he succeeded. Right. So he gave it a WD-40.
So our young men,
yes.
I think this is a call for them, Karanja, to say you can be a manufacturer, you can
yes.
be an inventor,
yes.
you can be employed, you can think beyond the box, you can think beyond Kenya, you can look for opportunities. Just don't say, this thing of education ain't working, or opportunities are not there. I mean, interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah, it is important for us to go beyond the normal, because actually the things that have happened, as Bishop has put it, that where he was working with the UN, that you would walk there as a young man for an interview and you don't get that job. Doesn't mean that if you don't get that job, you have to go and become so desperate and start drinking. You don't destroy yourself. We have had so many young men destroying themselves, but it's still in the same line. Well, that is happening because, like, say, I've tried to talk to the authorities on because we had our older men who were there and they were still drinking. But what these young men are drinking is something completely different. So somebody is also trying to destroy them faster than they ought to have been destroyed.
So you mean even in the alcoholic, the content is now deterred, it's different?
It is very different. So like nothing seems to be favoring the young men and the men in general, from the young one all the way. And still the other thing is we mentioned something on mentorship. And you realize that a child starts bonding with the mother from inception, all the way to suckling and on before the child is weaned and all that. And if this home does not have a father to mentor this boy will think that now I can just sit and have mom take care of everything. And not once, not twice, I've done counseling on young men who the mothers at 10 years, the mother is already has already given up, that I cannot be able to rule this man. Like they've decided that this is an old man enough not to be shown this, do that. So I think also as the parenting bit has an issue, that we are giving up so early on our young men just because.
So a 10-year-old boy and the mother is saying, huyu amenishinda.
Huyu amenishinda. Not once, like when I get to the student, I give my number. Then you hear, mtoto wangu amenisumbua, sijui nitafanya. Then you ask, how old is that boy? He's 10 years. That's a class 4. So we are also failing as parents. Even when we are so busy, we are also failing that you actually cannot be innovative to come up with. Think of, yes, the dad is not there, or the dad is busy if he is there. He could be absent. So we got to...
What would you do? What would you...
Yeah, they got to either reach out to, we have men of God, we have also good men in the society. Try to learn some art of manhood so that you can raise this young man to face life as a man. And as a man of the 21st century, I cannot forget to say that. We have men of some other centuries, but now we are trying to mold and to talk about a man of the 21st century. Yes, because we try to borrow from other centuries, and you want to make this man of 21st century to be like the 18th century man. That will not work, and we're going to destroy our young men.
But we could also borrow some ideas from the... Apostle, you're not in the 18th century. You're not born in the 18th century.
No, I wasn't. I was born in the 20th century.
In the so that does not refer to us. But in the 20th century, there are some very, very basic ways of bringing up the young man that were very profitable.
Yes.
That you could share with us a few. A 10-year-old boy, like he shares right now, the mother says, huyu siwezi. But at 10 years, then, someone was able to take care of sheep, take care of homes, and,
You know, when a child is born, and then that child begins to talk, that's where the mentorship should begin.
Okay.
Okay? That child is 2 years, 3 years, he begins to talk. That mentorship should start from there and should not have a break. It's unfortunate that we are relinquishing our responsibilities of bringing up the child. Bring a child in the way he should go. And when he grows up, that child will never depart from the upbringing that you gave that child when he was so young as he grew up.
Yes.
So if a child misses somewhere, that may even translate or reflect in later years because there is something that he missed in the upbringing. Now, I thank God, although we are in 21st century, but there is a lot of information that we can borrow from 19th and 20th century because men, and especially fathers, they had to take their responsibility. I remember one of the things that my father really used to be harsh on me is to see me in a kitchen. In fact, I remember when I was employed for the first time in 1977, I didn't know how to cook nothing, not even tea, nothing. So I was that blank. But as a man, being responsible, for sure, I was very responsible.
So you are taught responsibility.
So, of course, that is something that we would not bring into 21st century.
You cannot say a man should not know how to cook tea. You agree, Karani? Oh, mwanaume ajue kupika chai. You agree, should know how to cook tea.
Actually,
but responsibility was very key.
Yes, responsibility was very key. What I was given to do, I was very thorough. And my dad would even tell me, well done. And he would even stretch his hand and greet me.
There were no hugs from father to son.
There were no hugs those days. Hata wakati mwingine wakati anakupatia mkono.
Unajanga kama
unashindwa sasa mkono ni kunichapa. So you have to be careful. But when you see him smile, things are okay. Well done, my son. You have done so well. So that responsibility, because you see, when you are bringing up a child, it's like you are imparting values into that child. And that child has to grow with that values. If that child misses those values, then he may end up being valueless, even when he becomes an adult.
All right, I hope the crowd, or rather the young people we have in Studio A are getting us loud and clear and getting information on how to be empowered as young people. This is just part A of Ask the Ministers of God, the Boy Child. We'll be right back with the same panel on part 2.